What's going on, friends? Have we seen the absolute peak of Harley-Davidson's performance when it comes to the 45-degree V-twin? Is the Milwaukee 8 the absolute be-all to end-all for Harley-Davidson? Or maybe is it time that Harley-Davidson maybe ought to just take a step back and maybe simplify things and kind of get back to the things that made Harley-Davidson great? Because for years, Harley-Davidson has really chased a market that didn't exist. And Harley-Davidson tried to give people what they thought they wanted, which in reality, people just wanted to get back to the basics. Harley-Davidson trying to modernize in the new era when it comes to motorcycles, getting rid of analog gauges, putting in basically Apple iPad screens, whatever you want to call them, going all digital, getting rid of everything that made Harley-Davidson really a Harley-Davidson other than maintaining a 45-degree V-twin. Maybe this was a misstep by Harley-Davidson. Maybe they thought that people weren't going to buy just good old regular Harley-Davidson motorcycles anymore, and they had to step into the 21st century. Well, I think Harley-Davidson forgot the one thing that always made Harley-Davidson great was the fact that they didn't have all that stuff. Yeah, granted, on a touring bike, she might have had a stereo and some speakers. That was kind of nice to have, because if you were using the motorcycle for its intended purpose, but Harley-Davidson has gotten really far away from that, and they've been trying to upgrade and modernize quite a bit as much as possible. Now, one could argue that, yes, maybe Harley-Davidson did need to modernize, but it doesn't really seem like it's working out for Harley-Davidson that well. Guys, please don't forget, if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, for anybody that's ever disliked Harley-Davidson, the one thing that you're always going to hear is, yeah, they got these 2,000cc motorcycles. They only put out 60 horsepower and like 80 foot-pounds of torque. Okay, well, you know, the 45-degree V-twin historically hasn't been the most powerful engine on earth. Now, the Milwaukee 8 has really kind of changed all that. Right off the showroom floor now, you're getting 100 horsepower and 120 foot-pounds of torque. That doesn't sound like a lot, but if you think about it, that's what this engine is designed to do. I know there's a lot of hate out there for the Milwaukee 8, but it really is a good power-producing engine for what it's supposed to do. Now, the longevity of it, that's up for debate, but nothing will ever be an Evo again. Now, what you got to remember when it comes to the 45-degree V-twin, these things put out more torque than damn near any other motorcycle engine out there on the market. Yeah, I know there's various other kinds of motorcycle engines out there that produce way more horsepower, but you look at the torque numbers and nothing even comes close to what Harley-Davidson is putting out. 120 foot-pounds bone stock off the showroom floor, that's pretty good. Kind of like the V-Rod. That thing made 120 horsepower, but you were lucky to see 75 foot-pounds of torque unless it was heavily modified, and honestly, you weren't going to get a whole lot more than that in the torque department. So for years, Harley-Davidson has been trying to modernize and get in the 21st century, get more power into the motorcycles, and make people happy by updating, putting a bunch of little widgets and gadgets on the motorcycles. But what if, just what if Harley-Davidson kind of went back to the basics, made things a little bit more simple? Because a lot of folks that ride Harley-Davidson, they really just want the simplicity, including myself. Now, I understand for years, customers always wanted more power out of the motorcycles from the factory. You know, you think back to the Evo days, you're getting about 60 horsepower, 80 foot-pounds of torque. And then you got around to the twin cam era, and I think we kind of peaked out right about 80 horsepower, maybe 100 foot-pounds of torque if you had a really good twin cam 103. Now, I'm not including the 110 there because that was kind of a CVO. That was more of a specialty item. For years and years, Harley-Davidson was trying to answer the customer's request for more power right out of the factory. Now, when we got that, we got the Milwaukee 8, it got a lot better. There was more power there available. But the thing you got to understand about Harley-Davidson is that they're just not going to give it to you. That's just not how the business is built. They give you just enough to get you excited and to let you get bored with it. And then, of course, naturally, they want you to come back and buy a bunch of upgrade parts to maintain your warranty and have it done in the dealer. That's just how the business model works when it comes to Harley-Davidson. Now, the sad part is that We did get more power out of the Harley-Davidson motorcycles, out of all of them, all the way across the board. Granted, at the cost of dumping the Evo Sportster in favor of the new Revolution Max engines, but that's a whole other story. Now, the sad part is that where with all this added power, Harley-Davidson changed everything on us. They completely changed the game. They went to digital dashes rather than just having a set of good old analog gauges, which, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with that, and I personally prefer that. So the big question is should Harley-Davidson continue to push into the modern era, or should Harley-Davidson more or less really kind of hang on to what's worked in the past? Because in the past, Harley-Davidson stuck with one main engine for years and years and years. They had the Evo clear up to 1999, starting from 1984. They ran the twin cams from 1999 all the way up until the bitter end in 2017 when they finally came out with the new Softails. Harley-Davidson is not one for coming off an engine design. But the question is that does Harley-Davidson continue to keep developing the Milwaukee 8? Some things on the new modern engines I would love to see. I would love to see them go back to the Timken bearings. I would love to see them put some better cranks in them that don't have so much run out. I would love to see them go back to a gear drive like they had on the Evolution engine. But all that takes time, that takes money, and they're trying to push these bikes out as quickly as possible and save as much money as possible. So in today's modern era, I don't think we're going to see anything like that. But hopefully, just hopefully, maybe our new CEO is going to take a look at this and say, hey, maybe we need to kind of rein in all this modernity, if that's even a word, and kind of go back to the things that made us great, which is simplicity. Try to simplify these engines a little bit. Maybe move away from all the electronic controls and everything. I mean, I don't see them going back to carburetors, but it'd be nice to kind of maybe get rid of the screens and have some analog gauges again. That would be a great start. But I don't know, guys. I really need your opinion on this. What do you guys think? Do you think that Harley-Davidson has finally peaked with the Milwaukee 8 in the 45-degree V-twin with the pushrod engine? Or do you think that there's still a lot more left in that? But maybe the question is would Harley-Davidson actually give it to us? Or are they going to make you pay for it over the counter with Screamin' Eagle parts? Or do you think maybe it's time that Harley-Davidson maybe start moving into some new ventures? Maybe getting something that's liquid-cooled, overhead cam. Maybe get a little more modern in that era. But I don't know, guys. You let me know your thoughts and opinions on that down in the comments. But yeah, guys, that's all I've got for you this week. I hope it gave you something to think about. And let me know your thoughts down there, because I'm really curious. I want your opinions on this, because I put a lot of thought into this. If you guys enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button. And consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. But till next week, guys, you stay safe on the streets, ride smart, dodge those cars. I'll catch you guys back here next week with a brand new video. Thanks for watching.